let's start the topic called as functions. So for understanding the functions, the complete Python you have to understand. Without understanding the complete core Python, you can't create the functions. Functions is a just making of a shortcut. There is nothing in the function. Just created whatever you have done earlier, the code, that code you are replacing as a shortcut name for that, which we used to call as function for that code. So now function is nothing but it is going to have a group of statements which will perform the particular task. So it is a function, any particular function will have inside some group of lines. And it is whenever you call this function, it is going to execute this group of lines. Whatever the lines you have given, it is going to execute the group of lines. A function is a set of statement that takes the input. It will take the input from the user and do the specific computation and produces the output. It will do the whatever the inside is there. First, it will ask the user to enter the input, and based on the input, it will execute the code. And finally, it is going to give the output. Whatever the output of the function is there, that it is going to release. Right now, here we are going to do two types of functions are there. Basically, one is called as inbuilt function. Inbuilt function means which is by default in the Python. That was created by the Python persons. You have not created that one. They are created by the Python, and it is universal. You can use, I can use, others also can use. Whereas user defined means you have created that one. You are going to create your own function. That is called as user defined. User means you. Defined means created. User defined functions. Inbuilt functions, example. Till now, whatever the functions we have worked on, the print function. Now, print is the inbuilt function. For this inbuilt function, it has to work means what is the input you have to give? You have to give at least one variable name or value or anything. Something you have to give. Either variable name you have to give or value you have to give. Either variable name or value or combination of both of them. Anything you can give. Now here we have to give the input, and in the back end of this function, some certain lines of code is written. And based on that, it is going to execute the output. And finally, we are going to generate the output. Right? So every print is one of the function. Print is one of the function. ID is function. And length is one function. Next one is coming to the next one like called as input. Input is a function. All these are different types of functions we are having in the Python. Okay. These are inbuilt functions. Inbuilt functions means in terms of anything like type. Type is also one of a function. But append is not considered as a function. It is called as method. Why? Because this method is only applicable for the list. Whereas these things are applicable irrespective of anything. Functions are irrespective of data structure or data type. They are called as functions. A function which is used for a particular data type is called as method. That is the difference between a method and a function. During the string methods, I have told you this one. What is the difference between a function and a method? Capitalize. Dot capitalize is there. Capitalize is actually a function only. Basically, it is a function. But this function will be applicable only for the string. You can't apply this capitalize for the int. You can't apply the capitalize for the list. You can't apply the capitalize for the tuple. You can't apply that for dictionary. None of them you can apply. You can apply only to the string. If before this string is there only, the capitalize will work. Otherwise, it is not going to work. Then it is called as method. Or it is also called as attribute. Method or attribute. Right? So you are going to get some kind of attribute error. What is meant by attribute error? Means that particular attribute is not available. For example, string dot append you asked. For string append is available? Huh? No, right? For example, if you are asking srk dot append of 5, if you ask like this, it is going to throw an error called as attribute error. Attribute error means strings are not having the option called as append. Strings are having only option like is alpha, is numeric, capitalize, title, all these are available. Append, insert, these things are not available for the strings. So it is not going to work for that. Right? Now, let us see here. Inbuilt functions, one of them is ABS. Example is ABS. ABS means absolute value. Absolute value of -10. -10 means it is going to give the mod of -10 like this. Whatever the value you are going to do, it is going to apply the mod for that, and it is going to give the output as +10. Means any negative numbers will be converted to positive number. The absolute function will convert that one. So Now this absolute function, how it is working, you know, what is the backend code? It is having def abs of some number, whatever the number you are entering here, it is going to take that number and a is equal to, if first it will do like this, if the number is less than or equal to 0, if it is less than or equal to 0, the number, whatever the a is equal to minus of number. If the number is less than 0 means minus of number, else a is equal to number only. And finally, whatever the print a, this is the backend code. So now this number will be taken as num and enters into this function, and it is going to execute. Since num minus 10 is less than 0, condition satisfied. So a value is equal to minus of minus 10, that is plus 10. Since if condition worked, else part will not work. And finally, it is going to print a. What is print a means? A is nothing but plus 10. So plus 10 is the output. This is the backend code of this one. Sir, don't focus on this example I'm saying. Okay, this one we are going to see detailedly. What is meant by this def? What is meant by this? All these things we are going to see detailedly. Okay, so just all the functions are having in the backend some code is there. That code was written based on the core Python. Till now, whatever we have discussed, every function was decided. Every function in the entire Python, in the future, artificial intelligence functions are also. Every function in the entire Python was decided. Till now, whatever we have discussed only. It has not designed out of the part which was not discussed in the class. Any function you take, whether it is a data science related function, machine learning related function, artificial intelligence, or whatever it is, any function in the Python has to be created based on the whatever till now we have discussed by using the variables, operators, if and else, for loops and while loops. Using this only they have to create the function. So I'm going to show you all the functions, different functions we'll discuss. Don't worry. And what are the different types of functions are also there, we'll discuss. Now, first one is user defined functions. User defined means user is going to define the function. Now, function, what is meant by function? It is going to do a particular specific task as described by the user. Whatever the user has described, that one it is going to do. For example, let us take very simple example. Now, I want to take two numbers. Okay, select any two numbers and I want to add them. Now what I have to do? A is equal to one number, B is equal to second number, and you are going to take C is equal to A plus B and print C. Okay, if I write some kind of lengthy code, shortcut code is A comma B is equal to something directly, and directly you can write here itself print of A plus B itself. Okay, now for example, I have written the code like this. Now this code is going to take two numbers as the input and it is going to give me the output. For example, two numbers are 10 and 20, assume. Now, if I execute this code, what is this code is going to give? 30 is the output. Now in this code, this is the input. You are giving as the input. This is the output. In between, what is the code? This is called as code. This is called as output. What it is going to display as the outside, it is called as output. Whatever it is taking the values and doing the task is called as input, and whatever the task is that is called as code. Here the code is this one. This is the input values and this is the output value. Now what I'm going to do is just this same thing. I'm going to create a function like this. Def. Def means user defined function. The syntax for defining the user defined functions is def. DEF. You have to write. Def is creating a function. You are defining a function. Def means defining a function. I'm defining a function called as add. Add A comma B. C is equal to A plus B and print C. This is the function. The same code I'm replicating here. What is the code? This is the code and this is the output. Code and output you have to give inside. Input you have to give here. That's it. Any code has to be converted as a function like this. Any code will be converted a function like this. Sir, any code will be converted. Okay, let us take one more example. Let us take L, sir. L is equal to list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 numbers are there. You have to do the sum. sum of the numbers in the given list. What is the code we have to write for this? For I in L, S is equal to S plus I, and print the S value. So initially S value you have to give as 0. Which is the input? This is the input. What is the output? This is the output. What is the code? These 3 lines are code. This is code, this is input, and this is output. Same thing I am converting as a function. Def, okay, add underscore list of elements, and this input I am going to give here, colon, and code, I am writing the code as this. For I in L, S is equal to S plus I. Print S. Completed. Now for this function, whatever the L value you have given, 1, 2, 3, 4 as the input you have to give. Input you have to give as a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Automatically it will give. If you have given the input as 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, it will select that one. Whatever the value you have given L, that L will be considered here and it will execute the program. This is performing the certain task. Whatever the task you have given, it is performing the task. So a function is nothing but, functions are simple, certain specific task. They are going to do the specific task, whatever is there inside the function, it is going to do that one. Okay, sir, now please, what are the example you have written earlier, please show us. No need to write this one because we'll go in detail, one by one, step by step. Okay, if you don't write also, no problem. If you have written also, no problem. Okay, don't worry. Just I have shown you a simple example. Any function means code is converted as a shortcut. Code is, I am not writing a new code in the function. None of the functions is new code. The code we are going to give as a shortcut for that. Sir, what is meant by this shortcut and what are these things? We'll understand easily. See, advantages of user-defined functions are, the functions whatever you have designed will make with respect to second time whenever you want to work on the second time. For example, you are using for one time miss, it is better to write the code only. Don't create the functions. If you want to create multiple times, you are using the same code for multiple times. Same code. I'm not saying with respect to block of code. I'm saying the entire, for the same code you are using for the multiple times, then for that you create the function. Right? Now, it is going to make a large program into small piece. 500 lines of code is there. Assume everything you are going to bring to def of SRK. Now you are going to call as SRK. One line of code, if you write also, it will work. No need to write all the 500 lines of code. In the future, we are going to work with this one only. Once today's class is completed, from tomorrow, every day one line code only we will discuss. In the data science, the coding will be there. In the data science, coding is there, but very limited number of codes. Right? Miss, what is the maximum length of code we are going to write is 3 lines or 4 lines. That's it. On every 4 lines, we'll get some output, and based on the output, again 4 lines we'll write. Again, output will get again 4 lines. We'll also write 200 lines or 100 lines. That is secondary. But next 4 lines will be decided based on the output of this one. By seeing this one, inside this, some different answer is there, means according to that, we have to write the code. Based on the answer, we have to change the code. At a time, we are going to write only 3 to 4 lines of code. That too shortcuts only. We will not even write the original code also. So we'll write every time functions only. But how these functions are created and how the use of functions is more important. So in order to, if you understand today's class, you can prepare on your own data science also. Okay. From tomorrow, if you don't attend the classes also, you can prepare, self-prepare. Sir, now I have paid 50% of the fees. Nah? I can study myself. Go and enjoy, but you will not understand anything. Concept of coding will understand. Theoretical part. Without theory, coding, if you understand also, there will be no use. Nah? Theory plus coding is both simultaneously we have to understand. Only coding also, there will be no use. Coding you can understand. Any code you can understand, but there will be no use of coding. Right? Now, here user-defined functions like break into easy way. And if you want to repeat the code in a program, then that time you create the functions. Now, what is the syntax? Syntax is def, def. Def means define. Compulsory you have to use the word of def. This is the syntax in the Python. and write the function name. Whatever the name you are interested, write that one. But this name should be same as variable name. Whatever the conditions for variable name are there, the same conditions will be applicable for the function name also. Okay, same function name also will be applicable, and you have to give the input. Input you have to give and keep the colon, and inside that write whatever the code you want. Clear? Write whatever the code you want. Right? So inside this, you are going to write whatever the code you want, and finally, if you want the output can be brought in two ways. One is called as print, or one is called as return. Two options you are having. Either print or return. Using these two, anything it is okay for getting the output. So now, first let us start this one. Syntax. Syntax you write in your notes. Heading as syntax for the functions. Syntax for functions. Okay. Now after functions, and tomorrow we are going to create the library only. I'm going to create my own library called as SRK library. In that library, I'm going to keep certain functions, and using that functions, I'm going to execute the code in a shortcut. Now then you'll understand, oh, library means this one only. Yeah? You will feel like this. Library and functions. Every library will consist of functions. A group of functions keeping in one location is called as library. Nothing else. Okay. Now syntax for functions is nothing but def. Def, small letters def, followed by function name. Write whatever the function name you want. The function name should have the same conditions of the variable name, and in the bracket input, whatever the inputs you have to give, that one inputs, and colon. Keep the colon, and this is block of code. You have to write the function code. In the function code, whatever the output you want, you are going to use the return. By using the return, you are returning that one. This function will return that one. Or by using the print. Sir, what is the difference between these two? We'll discuss one by one. Okay, we are having two options which is going to return the outputs, either return or print. Two of them are there. Now, first let us start with a simple example called as def. Function name I am creating as add, ADD. Inputs, I am going to give two inputs, A comma B, colon. Inside this, I am writing the code. C is equal to A plus B, and return the C value. Completed. Function is completed. Now, creation of function is completed. This is called as creation or defining. This is called as defining a function. Defining a function. You are defining a function. Okay. You are defining a function or creating a function. Completed. Now you have to call that one. Now for whatever the values you want, add of 3, 4. Function you are calling, inside that you are giving 3, 4. Here two values are there. Na? Here two values should be there. Here one value is there, means here one value. Here the number of values should be the same. For example, here you have written 3, 4, 5. 3 numbers you have written, means just it is going to apply the multiple variable assignment concept. That is A comma B is equal to 3, 4, 5. What is this answer? Error. You are going to get an error. So if number of values here and number of values here, if both are equal, A comma B is equal to 3, 4. Now what is A? 3. What is B? 4. So it is going to execute A is equal to 3 and B is equal to 4, enters into this function. C is equal to 3 plus 4 and C is equal to 7. Return C. Now output of this one is going to be 7. Once you create this function, this is called as calling a function. This is called as creating a function. This is called as calling a function. And you are going to get the output as 7. Sir, instead of return C, if I write this one, print C. Output again 7 only. Output again 7 only. The return 7 or return C or print C, both the options are output will be the same. But the only difference is this output you can't save into a new variable. Whichever it has written, that one you can save into a new variable. Print you can't save into a new variable. For example, this one output of 7 is there. This one you want to store into a new variable. You can't store. Whereas return of C is there, means that you can store. That is the reason most of the functions will be created based on the return file. They are created based on the return file. So let us do the same thing. let me explain the same thing. Sir, your voice and video breaking continuation. Video is off now. First video is off. Screen. Let me once again. Now. Voice is breaking. Let me check. USB. This one also USB only. Everything. Now it is clear. Right? Now let us start this first basic one. Whatever we have discussed now, let us discuss. Let us see. Def add. Add is the function I am writing where a comma b. Okay, colon. Sir, don't ask the questions, sir. How many input variables? Don't ask now itself all the questions. Wait till the end. So there different types of functions are there, different combinations are there. So many things are there. We have to discuss for 1.5 hours. So don't ask now itself your questions. Down, we are going to execute almost 30 to 40 different types of programs we are going to execute. Okay, multiple examples we are going to see. Right? Now, C is equal to A plus B and return C. Return C. Okay. Now, this is going to take two input variables and it is going to give the output as C value, which is sum of the two values. I'm calling this function. Call the function by using A of 3, 4. Output is 7. This is called as defining a function. So heading as defining a function. You are creating a function or defining a function. Now this is called as calling. Whatever the function you have created, you can call. This function you can't call in the others. In other systems, you can't call. Even in other Jupyter notebook also you can't call. Within your system only, if you open a new Jupyter notebook also, you can't call. This is created for you and for this purpose only. Okay, this is not inbuilt function. This is not the inbuilt function. Right? Now, here we are using with respect to called as calling a function. You are calling a function. Right? So this is called as defining a function and this is called as calling a function. Now you have created a function, some shortcut. For what purpose you have created this one? What this function will do? Add function, what it will do? It will add. Who knows that one? You knows that one. If you are sharing the same code for me in the future or you have resigned from the company, that one. You have resigned. You have created the code and you have resigned from the company. Now new person is going to use that code. How he'll understand that one? So we are going to use some kind of documented string. So which is triple inverted commas open and triple inverted commas close. Inside this we have to write. That is nothing but multi-line comment. We are using the multi-line comment and this function is used for adding two numbers. This function is used for adding two numbers. Is the comment I have written for this. Now this function will be created. Now whenever the function we are calling, if you use shift tab, inside this shift tab, see this is the function and this function is used for adding two numbers. Whatever I have written, this is called as document string. Document string means help file of that function is called as document string. Help file. Help means shift plus tab. You have to use shift plus tab. Now, when you are using the shift plus tab, it is going to open the document string. In the document string, whatever you have written here, it is going to print the same thing. So in the document string, if I write like this, for example, this function returns. This function returns the sum of two numbers. This function returns sum of two numbers. I'm executing. Now, if I open the shift tab of this, see, this function returns the sum of two numbers. By summing or by adding, the function returns the sum of the two numbers, two input numbers A and B. Two input numbers called A and B. By adding A and B, input numbers A and B. So you have to give A and B two values. So if I open the shift tab, see, whatever I have written, it is going to print. That is called as document string. Now, here I am writing 3 only. If I write 3 only, it is going to throw an error because this function was created for 2 arguments and you have given only 1 argument. Argument means inputs. What is meant by argument means input. Argument is equal to input. This function, see, add function missing 1 required positional argument. Means 1 input is missing. You have given, this function was created for 2 arguments, means 2 inputs. You have given only 1 input. 1 more input is missing. So it is throwing an error. For example, you have written 3, 4, 5. 3 of them you have written. Again, it will throw an error. It takes only 2 arguments, but you have given 3. 3 were given. It will take only 2, but you have given 3. It will throw an error once again. It will not accept. So when you have given only 2 values, any 2 values if you have given, it is going to execute. Right? Is that clear? That is creating a function and calling a function. Now, next one is, now we are having, for example, like this, we want to execute the same code for multiple times. Same line of code we want to execute for multiple times. For that reason, we are going to create a shortcut called as functions. So one time only I am going to use that one, means no need to create the function. Don't create the function. Right? Now, here, so defining a function like sum of 4 numbers. Here 4 inputs are taken and written a plus b plus c plus d. Now once I am creating the function, one time I am creating the function, but multiple times I can call the function in this particular Jupyter notebook anytime. For different values I can call. Created for one time. One time I have created, but I can use the same function for multiple times. Right? So one is with respect to your creating a function, defining the function by using the input parameters called as a, b, c, d, 4 arguments you have given, and you are calling the function with 4 arguments. Now once again, see this one, I am creating a function called as double of inside that one input argument called as srk, and r is equal to 2 into srk, written r. Now 10, double of 10. What is meant by now double of 10 means 10 will be considered as the srk. Srk is equal to 10. In the backend, it is going to take 10 is equal to srk is equal to 10 and enters into the function. R is equal to 2 into srk, that is 2 into 10, that is 20, and written r. What is the now? What is the output of this one? 20. It is going to be 20. Now, tell me what is the output of this code, guys? For num in range of 1 to 100, and the numbers which are divisible by 5 and also divisible by 7. What is the output of this? 35 and 70. Right? Now the same thing, if you want from 1 to 200, from 1 to 200, you want from 1 to 200 means you are selecting this one more time. So this one you want and this one also you want. And along with that 300 also you want. 1 to 300 also. This answer also you want. So 3 times you are writing the same code for different values. Now first time you have written 3 lines of code. Second time you have written 3 lines of code. Third time you have written 3 lines of code. Total 9 lines of code you have written. You want everything. Not if you don't want one of them and you want to replace miss, here itself directly we can replace. Here itself directly we can replace with 200. But we lost the old one. Old program should be there. At the same time, new program also should be there. Both should be there. Both should be there means we are going to select like this total 9 lines of code. Now I am going to create the same thing, shortcut called as def of num underscore 5 underscore 7. The same thing. Just see what is the code I have written above. The same code. Copy, paste. Did I change any code? Here instead of 300, I am writing the number. Whatever the end number is there, that you are asking from the user. Ask the user to enter what is till what number you want. Right? Now here some num underscore 5 underscore 7, 100. For 200 you are going to get for 300. Now how many lines of code you have written? 4 lines. After that 1 line, 1 line, 1 line. Total 7 lines you have written. First time 3 lines, 3 lines, 3 lines. Total 9 lines you have written. After that you have created a function. For creating a function you require the 4 lines of code. For calling that function you have written 1 separately. Total 7 lines. Now, how many lines you have reduced? Means only 2 lines you have reduced. For this small program, only 2 lines. In the future, for 20 lines of code also, for example, 20, assume there is a first program, 20 lines of code is there. 20, 20, 20. 20 lines, 20 lines, 20 lines. Total how many? 60 lines. Now, for this 20 lines of code, how many lines of code is required for def? Same 20 plus one more line called as def. One more line. Total using 21 lines, you can create the function, right? Copy the same code as this, add one more line to that above. That's it you have to do. Above, you have to add one more line called as def. Code should be the same. So 21 lines, you are going to create the function. And if you want to call 3 times means 1, 1, 1. Now, how many total number of lines of code? 24. Instead of 60, now 24 now. If more number of lines of code is there, at that time to make the shortcut, we have created the functions to minimize the length of the code. Here, write the 10 only. Whatever the 1 to 10 you want, here I is nothing but here as the input. Whatever the input you have given, here 10 means what is the meaning of this one? When you call this function, I is equal to 10 and enter into the function. Inside the function, here I will be replaced with 10. If you have given 100 means I will be replaced with 100. If you give 200 means I will be replaced with 200. I is equal to 300. Whatever it is. Sorry. 1 as j. If you have created above the same thing, whatever you have created, according to that I am saying. This above code, how to convert the function, I am saying. I am not creating a new code. I'm showing this function how to create as a, this particular program, how to create as a code. Okay. Now one more example. Let us see this one. A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 list. Sum is equal to 0 for num in A and you are creating. This is the function. This is the input and this is the, this is the code, for loop code. Now this one you have to create as a function. What you are going to do? From here to here, apart from the input, from here to here, it is there now. What you have to do is, you have to use tab 1 tab. Select all the lines and click on the tab. So everything will be moved to the left one. Create the code here, add the def for this. D, E, F. Def and select as per your name, add underscore list. And input is A. Done. I'm not changing anything. Whatever the program is there, for that program, I'm adding one more line, shortcut line. Is that clear? Is there any, just without this function, this is the code. Actually, this is the code, right? For you, this is the code, actually. This code will give the output as 10. Now, what I'm going to do, this I'm creating as a function. The same above code, I'm creating as a function. Now, what is the A? A is equal to, I'm giving the list of 1, 2, 3, 4. List is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm calling sum underscore list A. Miss, what is this? This is going to do. Now what is A? A is nothing but this one only, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 only, right? So now this will be replaced with 1, 2, 3, 4 and it will enter into the loop and it will apply the for loop over this one. Is that clear? Any function, tell me, let us open this one. Any for loop or any if conditions, whatever you want. Let us open the conditional statements, if and else, right? Inside this, we have written so many codes, right? So many cells and so many programs we have written. Now tell me any one of the program as per your choice. For example, this is the program. For this program, you have to create the function. Okay. Now this program is, what is this program? Take a variable y and print grade A if it is greater than 90, grade B if it is less than 60 and less than 90 and greater than 60, and less than or equal to 60 grade F. So this is the program you have to write. This program, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a function. This one, shift tab. Here I'm going to use def of name, grade. Name of the thing is, function name is grade of y. Over. Function is created. Now, the same thing, whatever you are using here, okay. Now I'm going to give with respect to this one. Okay, this is the function I have created. Now first y value, y is equal to input of, y is equal to input of, it is asking the user. After that, I'm going to call this function, that is grade of y. So it will ask the user 86, grade B. Earlier it is normal code, now it is function. Any change? Is it clear? So now whatever the function name you want to keep, you can select. Only the function name should satisfy the same as variable name. How you have selected the variable names, conditions, whatever the conditions are there for the variable name, the same conditions are applicable for the function name also. Is that clear? Just I have created the code and for that I have written the function. Is there anything I have added? Any code you can convert. So select in this anything of your choice. Guys, anyone? Any question? As per your choice. For example, if you want to break this one and this for this input, you want to execute this code, create the function. Whatever the code is there, move this one to one step and create about that, write the function name. How much time it will take for you to create the function? Now, what is meant by function? When you call this function, automatically this code only is working. Every function is working on the code only. Inside that, there is a certain code is there and that code is executing. Right? Is that clear, guys? Any questions on the functions? Functions is very easiest topic. Not easiest, dead easiest topic. Right? Just the functions are created based on whatever we have discussed till yesterday. Every function is created based on the yesterday's class only. Right? Now here one more function. See, I'm creating this one and I'm calling the function. Now, for example, I want to create. So, for example, let me write like this. List is equal to 1, 14, 15, 12, 9, 7, 6, 5. Okay. Now, write a program. Question number 1. Question number 2, separate. Write a program for doing the sum of even numbers and for sum of odd numbers. Okay, write a program that gives the sum of even numbers and sum of odd numbers in the list. In this list, what are the even numbers? 1, 15, 9, 7, 5. You have to do the sum of this. Similarly, even numbers 14, 12, 6. You have to do the sum of this. 1 plus 15, 16, 25, 32, 37. That is 26 plus 6, 32. You have to get the output as 37 and 32. Write the program. Choice is yours. Anything you can select. Write the program, not the function. Same question, second question, question number 2. Write a function for that. Instead of write a program, write a function for that. Is the question 2. Question 1 and question 2. Right? Please write in your notes, guys. Write the program. Write a program. Write in your notes the program. As per the Python syntax. Okay, so guys, I'm writing. Okay, for I in list. So for I in list, I have to add whichever the number is even number. So first I'm going to see whether I is divisible by 2 is equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, for that I'm going to do the sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum I am going to initialize with 0. What is this sum is? Even sum. So E underscore S, E underscore S. E underscore S is initially 0. Yes. If it is not divisible by 2, yes. Odd sum is equal to odd sum plus I. odd sum plus I. That is O underscore S is equal to 0. That's it. Program completed. Finally print the O underscore S, comma, E underscore S. Odd sum and even sum. This is the program, right? So the same program I'm writing here. So tell me what is the code I have told you? Sorry, I mean first list. List is equal to, what is the list? 1, 14, 15, 12, 9, 7, 6, 5. Okay. Now for this, what I'm going to do is for I know how to add a numbers in the list. For I in L, first I'm selecting this one. If all the numbers I'm not going to add, I have to separate the even numbers separately, odd numbers separately. I have to add separately. Nah? So what I'm going to do is, if I is divisible by 2, divisible by 2 is equal to 0, colon. For this, I'm going to do sum. That is S is equal to S plus I. But it is going to, similarly, for even sum, I'm going to correct ES. Name it as ES, even sum. Similarly, else, if it is not divisible by 2, automatically odd number only. For odd number, I'm going to take odd S, odd sum, OS is equal to OS plus I. So initially, I'm going to give the values like ES is equal to 1, OS is equal to 0. Sorry, 0. This one 0 and this one 0. And finally, you are printing that output of this. Print OS and ES separately. OS comma ES. So you have got 37 and 32. So first what it is going to do? First it is going to take 1. 1 will be selected. Since 1 is not odd even number, so if condition will not work. If it's not working, means automatically else will work. In the else, 1 will be added, 1 plus 0. Now the sum of OS is equal to 1. Next, it will come to the next number called as 14. Since 14 is an even number, even number it is going to add, that is 14 plus 0, which is 14. Next, 15. 15 is an odd number. So OS is equal to OS plus I. O is already 1 is there, plus I. I is nothing but 15, which is nothing but total is 16. Next, 12. 12 is an even number. So even sum it is going to add, that is 14 plus 12, 26. Next, 9. Again, it is odd sum, which is nothing but 16 plus 9, which is 25. Next, it will take 7. 7 again odd sum only. That is 25 plus 7, which is 32. Next, 6. 6 is even. So even number, that is 26 plus 6, 32. Next, 5. OS is equal to 32 plus 5, which is 37. Now print OS and ES means OS is equal to 37 and ES is equal to 32. So 37 and 32. It is printing like this. Is that clear? Now the same, this is called as program. You have written the program. Now I want the function. Now what you have to do? The same thing from here to here, you have to use the tab, and above you have to use def. Def number is odd sum and even sum. What I'm writing, E underscore O underscore sum of L. Whatever the L is given, you have to execute. So colon, we have to keep colon. Syntax error is colon. Now when you call this one, so function is created. When you call this one, that is nothing but calling the function, that is E underscore O underscore sum of L. If you give the L value, it is going to give 37 and 32. This is called as function. Earlier it is program, now it is function. Is that clear? Function and this one. Right? You can use either while loop or for loop. Choice is yours. If the particular person has asked using the for loop, means you have to use the for loop. If the person has asked using the while loop, means you have to select while loop. Choice is yours. If the person has not asked anything, means you can select as per your choice. So this particular code, did I change any code? Code is already fixed. For the code, just what I have done is added the function, right? Whenever you're calling this function, automatically in the backend, what happens? This code only will work. Whatever you have created, this one only will work. In the backend, this is only working. But you are calling only this one. For example, you are having this one you have to print. That is, let us take this one. Okay, I'm writing here inside this. You are calling this one by using this one. Okay, now you want with respect to this position is 10. You are adding 10 for this. Instead of going with the 1, you are taking 10. And you want the output of this one also separately. That output you required earlier, whatever the output you are having, that one also you required. And one more output also you required, which is nothing but with first number as 10. This one also you have to print. Both the things you have to print. Now this one. Now second one you are going to have by using one line of code. First time only you are writing that one. From the second time onwards, it is making easy. But if you are using for one time only, for example, you are using for one time only, sir, why to create this one, sir, why to call, sir, waste of time na. Anyways, the same code na. Why to create the function and why to call that one? Why to write the extra 2 lines? Waste of time, right? So when there is no use of calling once again, there is no use, means don't create the function. Okay, don't create that function. When you are using for multiple times, create that function. Is that clear? So the same code. Okay. So here we have written the same thing, odd sum, even sum, and I have printed with respect to this one. And I have created the same thing, function. I am creating the function and calling the function. Simple. What are the values you have given? Within the values, it is applying the same function. So now you see here, even underscore odd underscore sum, LST1. I have written like this. What is the meaning? This one is LST1 means this one. Everyone knows. It is going to create a variable. Inside that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be there. And the name of this one is LST1. Okay, this one also clear. First line is clear. Now even underscore odd underscore sum of LST of 1. What is the meaning of that? It is going to call this function. Whatever the function is there, it is going to call that function. What is this function? This function. If this was executed, it will call. For example, you have written something like this. Name it as srk underscore added. Srk underscore added is the function. You are calling this function. Have you created that function and have you executed that one? No. Now, if you call this one, it is going to throw error. What is this? What is this function? You have not created and you have not executed. Though you have created also, if you have not executed also, it will throw the error. It is checking whether this function is available in your Jupyter notebook or not. That is in the whatever in the backend it is there. It is checking in the kernel whether this function is available, whether this object was saved or not. That object is not saved with the name miss. It is going to throw an error that this object is not there. Name error. In the backend, it is checking that function is available or not. Whenever this function is available, so sir, example function is available, sir. Okay, sum underscore even underscore odd underscore sum. Function is available, sir. After what it is going to do, it is going to see here number of arguments. Here the number of input parameters and what are the number of input parameters you have given, both of them are same or not. First step, it is checking whether this function is available or not. Second step, it is checking with respect to both number of input arguments are same or not. Here this function was created with how many inputs? How many inputs? One input. So this function has to be called using only one input. You can't call with multiple inputs. That one input should be list, directly the list. The input should be list. Because this function was created based on the for loop. Can you apply A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 for I in A? Can you apply this one? For int, indexing is possible, or int is having that one. Is that possible? No, right? It is not possible, means it is not going to work. If normal program is not working, then how function will work? Function is nothing but normal program only, na? Both are same only, right? Is that clear? You can write with respect to return or you can write with respect to print. Now, what is the difference of return and print? Once again, return, if you are having the return, now whatever the output variable you have got here, that is 74 and 21 you have got, right? Two values you have got. If these two values you want to save output. Output if you want to save means which output you can save means which is returning. That file only you can save. If you have used the print means this one you can't save. Whenever you are using the print, you can't save that one. Whichever is returning, that one you can save into a new variable. The output of the function can be saved. Write in your notes, the output of the function can be saved. The output, whatever the output value you are going to get, can be saved when it is returning. When it has written. The output of the function can't be saved. Can't be saved when it has print inside that. Right? Is my writing is okay, or is there any doctor writing? Able to understand, right? My writing? This one. The output of the function can be saved when it has the return option. If it is having the print option, the output cannot be saved. That is the reason most of the functions are created based on the return in order to save the output. The output also should be saved furtherly. Means it has to have the return. Right? Next. Now different types of arguments. What is meant by argument? Input parameters. We are having different types of input parameters. Now function can be created without input parameters also. By creating the function, you can create the function without input parameters. This function was created without any input parameter. Now while calling also, you should not call it without any input parameter only. When you have created, how you have created, calling also should be done the same. So here see a function with no arguments. This is one type of function which is having with no arguments. No arguments means this function is not having any kind of input parameters. So see, I'm executing this one. Okay, function was executed, successfully completed. While calling also, I'm not giving any input parameters. Now when I call this function, what happens? First, this function is available or not? It will check. Yes, this function is available. Okay, step number 1, done. What is the step number 1? It will check whether that function is available or not. Check whether whatever the function you are calling is available or not. Whatever the function you are calling is available or not. Available means whether the object was created or not. Though you have written and you have not executed means it is not considered. It has to be written and executed. When you have executed in the backend, it is going to create one object. This function is going to create one object. Okay. First step, it is going to check whether there is an object with respect to this function name or not. First step. Second step, it is going to see the number of arguments. Number of arguments while creating the function. While creating function is equal to while calling the function. While calling the function. Both the number of arguments are same or not. Numbers only. Number of arguments, whether both of them are same or not. Here 0 is there means here also 0. Here 1 is there means here 1. Here 2 is there means 2. How many arguments are created for creating the function? Those many number of arguments should be there while calling also. Number of arguments should be there. Variable name can be anything, but arguments number should be same. This is the second step. So now first step, this one I have created while I'm calling now. First condition, whether this function is available or not. Whether this function is available or not. Whether this function is available. Even underscore nub, is the function is available? No, this one I have not created, so it is going to throw a name error because this object is not available. Even underscore m, this function is available or not? Because I have executed now, so object is created. So it is going to work. So first check is satisfied, tick mark. Second one, number of arguments by creating the function and while calling the function should be same. Here the number of arguments by creating is 0, while calling also 0. Since both of them are same, now the function will work. Now when the function starts working, what happens? Just it is going to execute the line by line within the function, whatever it is there. Whatever is there inside the function, line by line execution it is going to do. That's it. So inside this, what is there? LB. Enter the lower bound values. I'm entering the lower bound values as 1. You enter the upper bound values, UB. That is, I'm entering as 5. Now tell me what happens. If I execute enter, what is the output I'm going to get? Just for I in range of LB. Now what is the LB? 1. What is UB? 5. So 1 to 6. UB plus 1 means 6. Means 1 to 5. It is going to select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now within this, whichever is divisible by 2, that number will be printed. So what are the output? 2 and 4. That is the output. If you don't write this function and if you execute the code, if you don't write this function and execute the code, and you are giving the LB as 1 and UB as 5, the same output. Just you are writing one more line for this. That's it. One more line you are writing as a shortcut. Instead of every time calling with 4 lines or 5 lines, you are calling with one line only. For calling that function, it is very easy for creating the shortcuts. That is the reason functions are called as shortcuts of the code. In the STS class, I have told you, right? Tomorrow we are going to discuss the shortcut of the code. Means whatever the things you have designed, that one only. Right? Now, same 1 and 5, and you are going to get 2 and 4. Next, def of ABS of A. For I in range of 1 to 11. And I is not divisible by 0, print I. This is the function I am creating. ABSE, something like this. ABSE. You are creating a function called as ABSE. Okay. Now, I have executed. First, object is created in the backend, ABSE. Object name called as ABSE. Okay. Function was object is created. Now, ABSE of 1000. Now, what are the two conditions? Condition number 1 is the same name should be available, whether available or not available. Second one, number of arguments should be the same. So while creating, you have given one argument. Now, while calling also, you have given only one argument. Now, automatically, this argument will be equal to this one. Now, what is aim is equal to 1000 only. It is going to take 1000. Now, inside this, once it enters into this, for I in range of 1 to 11, what is the output of this one? Just it is going to print with respect to 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Odd numbers, whichever the odd numbers, not equal to 0 means odd numbers. So it is just printing 1 to 9 like this. If once execute, you are going to get like this 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Without this, if you execute the program, what happens? What is the output of this? 1 to 9. Same output. Just you are creating the function for that. Adding a function for that. Clear? Next, this is a function with no arguments. Now we are going to discuss the next one called as functions with positional arguments. Positional arguments. Each and every single letter of this class is more important for the further classes. Remember. Okay. So in the further classes, I'm going to do in a shortcuts at the time. Again, in the backend, the same programs will be run. Okay. So tomorrow we are going to create the library. Once we complete this functions means using the functions, we are going to create the library. Once the library is created means Python is completed. Next, Python for data science means we are going to move on to the libraries, NumPy, Pandas related to data science. And once that is also completed, then we'll move on to the statistics. So just by end of this month, the entire statistics, entire Python, everything will be completed. From December 1st onwards, we are going to move on to the machine learning. The prerequisites for the machine learning will be completed from the scratch level. Now, from the December 1st, actual machine learning and data science program, actual program will start. Whatever we are discussing is prerequisites, that is basic parts. As of now, you are again in the UKG only. LKG was completed till operators. Now you are in the UKG. For loops, while loops, functions, all comes under UKG. Libraries comes under first class. Slowly, step by step. Right? Now, second one is, function with arguments, with no arguments completed. Functions with no arguments completed. Now functions with positional arguments. Positional arguments means whatever the order you are going to write, the same order. The same order, right? Def, greet, name, comma, message. Name, comma, message. See here, I'm creating the function called as def, greet, name, comma, message, and print hello, comma, name, comma, message. Right? Now here I'm asking greet SRK good morning. Now automatically name will be considered as SRK, message will be considered as good morning. Whatever the order you have written, the same order it is going to consider, which is called as multiple variable assignment. So name comma message, name comma message is equal to SRK comma good morning. So name is going to be SRK, message is going to be the good morning. So greet SRK comma good morning. Miss, now it is going to execute this program. First greet, whether the function of greet is available or not. Yes, available. Second one, number of arguments. While creating this one is 2 arguments. While calling also 2 arguments are there. Both are same. Now it is going to execute the program. What is the program? Print hello, name. What is name? SRK. What is message? Good morning. So hello SRK, good morning. It is going to say like this. Now, first you have written good morning followed by SRK. Then automatically now what is name? Name is good morning. What is message? SRK is the message. It is going to consider like this. Hello, good morning SRK. Name is good morning. It is not going to understand, sir, how name can be good morning, sir. It will not understand English language. It will understand only the syntax. In that position, whatever it is there, it is the answer. That's it. It will not focus that name of a person can't be a good morning. It will not go in that way. It is not understanding the meaning of that. It is understanding only the syntax of that. And it is working based on the syntax. Is that clear? Now here, greet morning. You have written only morning. Means by creating this function, you have created with 2 arguments. But while calling the function, you are calling the function with only 1 argument. So you are going to get an error. Error that message is missing. Right? Error is with respect to messages, message is missing. This is considered as the name, but message is missing. Right? Simply it is going to throw an error. This is called as positional arguments. Second one is called as default argument. Most important one. Most, the deadmost. Keep how many stars you want. If you fill the entire book also, no problem. That much of most important. Right? Default arguments. Because all the machine learning algorithms works on the default parameters. Right? So here def of greet. So def of greet, again name, message is equal to good morning. I have written the message is equal to good morning. Can you see here? By creating the function itself. Earlier function was created without any default value. I am not giving any value. Directly I have created only 2 variable names. But this time I am creating the function itself by using some value. Name, message is equal to good morning, and I am printing hello, name and message. Now what happens when you are asking 2 values, that is SRK and good night? SRK will be considered as the name, good night will be considered as the message, and hello SRK good night. It is going to say like this. That is not a problem. But whenever you are asking with a single variable, the second variable, message is not there. For message, automatically it is going to take as good morning by default. If you don't write anything, miss, it will take. If you write, miss, whatever you have written, it will take. If you don't write on it, will take whatever the default values there. Example, if you go with the print statement, what is the print 10, 20, 30? What is the output? 10 space 20 space 30. By default, what is the separator between them? Space is the default value. Default means you have not written that one. But I am writing my clearly space separator. I want a comma between them. So comma I have written now. So comma has to be printed. If I don't write anything, default value will be printed. In the backend, the code is default with respect to the separator. If you open this one, see, open the print statement document. Now separator by default value is equal to, this function was created by default like this. Okay, if you open this function, if you open this function, so this function, whatever this particular greet function is there. So greet function is having the message is equal to good morning by default. If you don't write any value in the position of message, by default, it is going to consider good morning. If you write something miss, it is going to take whatever the value you have entered only. If you don't write only, it will take default values. Okay. So clearly, right? In default arguments means when we are creating a default value to an argument, we are writing the default value. Some value we are assigning by default by using an assignment operator is equal to. Okay. While creating a function, while creating a function or while defining a function, we are assigning a default value to an argument. We are assigning a default value to an particular argument. We are assigning a default value to an argument. While creating a function itself, we are writing that one. Right? Is that clear? Now, when you have not written this one, the second argument, if you don't write also, by default, it is going to consider. Sir, my second argument message is Satish, sir. I have missed the first argument. Python will not understand like that. Python will understand the first one as the first one only. If you write the first position as empty, something like this, then the first position is nothing is there. Second position is Satish. Right? Otherwise, it is going to consider by default this one as the first one. In the sequential order only, it is going to consider. Is that clear? So here the default value, you can write in the notes for print default for separator, default in print function, separator is equal to space. You are having by default like this. That is the reason separator you are getting by default. If you don't write anything also, by default you are getting the space. Once you have written this value like this, means it is going to print like this, whatever you have written. Clear, guys? That is default argument. Next type of argument is called as keyword argument. Next type of arguments are called as keyword arguments. Okay. Now, def greet name comma message, hello, name and message. You are writing once again the same function. Now, if you write greet good morning comma Satish, what is the answer? Name will be considered as the good morning, message will be considered as a Satish, and it is going to print the hello, good morning Satish, right? Because it is considering the positional arguments. Now I am writing message is equal to good morning. Though I have written in the first position also, clearly I have written the message. The word of message is equal to good morning, name is equal to Satish. Now in the name position, Satish only has to be taken. In the name position, Satish only has to be taken. Though it's not in the order also, in the name position, Satish only has to be taken. Satish will be taken in the name, message will be taken as good morning. This is called as keyword arguments. This is positional argument, this is keyword argument. That is the difference between these two. For keyword arguments, you don't need to write in the serial order. Anywhere you can write, but you have to assign that value. Is that clear? That is with respect to called as keyword arguments. So default arguments, positional arguments, and keyword arguments. These are the three different types of arguments which we are having, right? And one more argument is there called as arbitrary arguments. Now see here, this function. Tell me this function. Now, if I create a function like this, and if I write s underscore e 1 comma 5 comma 4 means what is a? A is equal to 1, b is equal to 5, c is equal to 4. Why? Because by default it is considering as the positional arguments. But I don't want this one. This one I want c is equal to. C is equal to 1. This is I am writing as a is equal to, and now b is equal to this one. Now what is the b value? 4 only. Whatever you have written, it is going to consider the b value. It is not going to take in the serial order. That is the difference between the positional and keyword. Is that clear? Positional and this one. So once you have written like this, now c will be considered as one value. and A has 5 and B has 4. Now tell me what is the output of this? D is equal to A plus B into C. That is nothing but A value is 5, B value is 4 into C value is 1. So first into will be done. So 4, 5 plus 4, which is 9. You are going to get output as 9. Right? Now, so here, if you observe this one, 1, 2, 3, if you write 1, 2, 3, here the separator acts as the default argument. Once you have written this one, automatically it is going to consider as the keyword argument, or with respect to default, instead of default, now it is going to convert as the keyword argument. Now separator, clearly you are writing now. Clearly that one you have written, automatically it is going to consider that one. Right? Now, so in this way we can create that. So these are all the examples. The fourth one is called as arbitrary arguments, the last argument. This is the last one. Arbitrary arguments. Now, arbitrary arguments, where once again I'm going to create def greet only. But this time, how many names I'm going to give as input, I also don't know. Input, I also don't know. I may give 2 inputs, I may give 3 inputs. Before the one, whatever you have created is, number of inputs are fixed. Now, this time, the number of inputs are not fixed. We don't know how many number of inputs we are going to give. We also don't know. That is the reason we have to write the star and names. Now, whatever you have written, it is going to consider this one as a tuple of elements. Automatically, it is going to take as a tuple of elements. Tuple of elements. And now here, just it is going to consider greet of SRK, Siva and Abhi. Now, what happens for I in names? What is names? Names is equal to tuple of SRK, Siva and Abhi. These are the tuple of elements. Names. For I in names means for I in this one. First I value is going to be SRK, enters into the loop, hello SRK, followed by hello Siva, followed by hello Abhi. So like this, I'm going to get output as hello SRK, hello Siva and hello Abhi. So number of arguments are not fixed before itself, then it is called as arbitrary arguments. Is that clear? Arbitrary arguments. So we have discussed the first one is called as a function with no arguments. Function with no arguments. Second one is function with positional arguments. Function with default arguments. Function with keyword arguments. Function with arbitrary arguments. These are the various within the function. A function can be created by using these many types. Is that clear? Now, next one, type of one more function called as a recursive function. A recursive function means within the function, one more time you are calling the same function is called as recursive function. Within the function, same function. Now you have created this function only, you are asking again inside also. Same function you are asking inside. Just now created the same function you are asking inside is called as recursive function. There are basically 2 types of functions. One is called as iterative function. Second one is called as a recursive function. Iterative function means, for example, I am creating the 2 functions called as def add, def sub. I have created like this. Now within this, I'm going to call once again def of add. This already I have created now. This function I'm calling inside the def of sub. Inside the def of sub, as one of the line, I'm using the def of what is this add function? I'm calling the add function. I'm calling the add function here. Example. Let us say an example. Let me create. Okay. Def add a comma b. C is equal to a plus b. Return C. Okay. Now def sub. Okay. Sub of a comma b. Okay. Once again, a comma b or d comma d, whatever you want you can write, or d comma e, assume. Now what are simply d, only d. I'm writing only d, right? Inside that, e is equal to d plus add of 3 comma 4. add of 3 comma 4. Whatever the output of this one will be stored here and it will be given and the minus and return the e value. This is the function. Now this function sub function you are creating. Inside the function you are asking add function, means you are calling other function. Other function you are calling inside this function is called as iterative function. Now when you execute the code, it's called as sub of 5. So sub is executed. Yes. Same sub is available. Yes, available. Now number of arguments are same. Arguments are same. Now automatically d is equal to 5 enters into this one. E is equal to 5 minus add of 3 comma 4. What is add of 3 comma 4? Add function is this one. Again 3 and 4 will be taken and c will be written and c value is 7. So 5 minus 7, e is equal to minus 2. So now when you ask the sub of 5, it is going to return the answer as minus 2 as the answer. So within this function, you are calling another function is called as iterative function. Whereas a recursive function means whatever you have created, the same function you are going to call inside is called as recursive function. Example is factorial. N factorial is equal to n into n minus 1 factorial. I am asking what is the meaning of factorial means again you are saying answer also factorial. I am asking factorial. What is the meaning of factorial means again you are saying factorial only. Output also factorial only. This is called as a recursive function. Right? So now what happens when you are asking 5 factorial, it is going to calculate 5 into 4 factorial. Now again 4 factorial, what is the function of factorial? 4 into 3 factorial. What is 3 factorial? 3 into 2 factorial. What is 2 factorial? 2 into 1 factorial. What is 1 factorial? 1. So 5 into 4 into 3 into 1. It is going to do like this. And it is going to return me fact of 5 is 120. It is going to give me the output of 120. 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. This function, you are asking again internally one more function. If the value is less than or equal to 1 means return with 1. If the value is greater than 1 means do the factorial for that. N into n minus 1 factorial. If it is less than or equal to 1 means stop there only. No need to do the factorial, application of factorial. Okay. So now just it is applying factorial of 4. When you are asking the factorial of 4, it is calculating. Just first it is going to take 4. 4 is greater than, less than or equal to 1. True or false? False. False means else. Else part what is there? 4 into fact of 3. What of fact of 3 means again it will start from here. Inside this, again this function you are calling again inside this. Now again it is going to apply 3 into 2 factorial this one. Again inside this you are calling that one. Like this you are calling within the function only you are calling multiple times. You are not coming out of the function. Inside the function only you are there, but multiple times you are using the same function. Got the point? That is called as recursive function. Using the same function within the function is called as recursive function. That is with respect to functions. These are the different types of functions which we are having.